Some reason my
welcome to a very special edition of Wealth Building Wednesday. Nope, it's not Wednesday. It is actually Thursday when you're seeing this for the first time. It may be a Wednesday when you decide to watch it, but whenever you watch it, this is your invitation to take advantage, as always, of services and opportunities that can help us move beyond poverty, advancing ourselves physically, mentally, socially, economically, and being able to prosper. And so this very special edition of Wealth Building Wednesday, as always, is brought to you by TRHT Selma. TRHT stands for Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation. We are an initiative that is a part of Black Belt Community Foundation and the Selma Center for Nonviolence. I am delighted to have our guest today. Now, we're not going to take up quite 30 minutes because if you've been watching Wealth Building Wednesday for a long time, you know, okay, 30 minutes, let me get my notepad. Not quite 30 minutes today, just 5 or 10 minutes of your time. But we're just going to start the conversation in hopes that you will join us live on Friday, February 2nd, from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m., not 1 a.m. Listen, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Selma High School as we honor a day of action with our partners, WSFA. So this morning, we have Dr. Rose Irby Wilkins, who is our guest. We are going to talk to her about who she is, what she does, and all the great things that she has to offer the community to help us shift and transition out of poverty. Good morning and welcome, Dr. Wilkins.
Well, good morning. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I am delighted to be here on a Thursday, not a Wednesday, but a Thursday, which means we're closer to Friday.
Yes, pre-Friday, if you will. So, Dr. Wilkins, tell us a little bit about yourself and your amazing business. You're such an extraordinary resource.
Well, I am Rose Irby Wilkins. I am a resident of Selma. And it's now, again, I am originally from Selma. I started here and finished in the class of proudly 71 at Selma High School, the first class of Selma High School. And then actually ended up in Chicago shortly thereafter, after coming out, after finishing college at the great Alabama A&M University. And so I was married and moved to Chicago, where I spent most of my career. And I would say 30 years in Chicago. And then I decided to retire and I moved back to Atlanta because I wasn't ready to come back to Selma. And then I discovered I was pretending to be retiring. So I actually refired, worked there for a while. And so then I started working back in Selma between Atlanta and Selma. And so then I went into refiring again and opened something I'm really proud of, which I call City Blocks Wellness Center. It was something I started the groundwork in Chicago, but now it has come into full range, and we have both. I manage both a community wellness center here in Selma, as well as community centers in different schools, K-12 schools.
And you are an extraordinary, like I said, you are an extraordinary resource to our community, City Blocks. And I believe my first encounter with City Blocks was at Selma High School, where you have a student center. And it's not just for students. I think the faculty and staff can take advantage as well.
Yeah, they can. And they do when they become overwhelmed.
Yes.
And so that particular center grew out of need. We needed to have an opportunity for initially we were looking at it in terms of when kids got in trouble or were about to get into trouble. We needed a place that was not so sterile in terms of sitting in a conference room or sitting in the principal's office. So we wanted a space, and this started in Chicago. We needed a welcoming space so that kids could come in and feel relaxed. And so we kind of put something together that was totally unique. And so when they walked in, they know, wait, this is not a classroom. This is totally different. And the whole atmosphere kind of shifted that interest in talking about whatever the issue was. And so initially 2021, when we, first opened it, it was, mostly kids that were about to get in situations, and our support was more for teachers or school leaders. But then it shifted because kids found out, oh, wait, we can go talk to these people and they won't tell your business unless it's something really, really devastating about to happen. But I could tell them anything. And so then we start having up to 90 visits a month, in some cases. And so kids found a space where they could just kind of unload. Many of them had traumatic experiences when they were younger, and now they were in high schools, and there were triggers from that, and then social media triggers, all kinds of triggers. So they could come to us and just, unload. There was someone there to talk to, someone to listen to, and that made a significant difference. And the other key piece about it was we actually have an app, so we can stay in touch with them outside of the schoolyard, and that was huge for kids because they could text you on a Saturday and let you know if something was happening, and then you can go back and forth with them in that give them a call. But having that external City Blocks app has really made a difference. From that grew the need to have a community based wellness center to kind of tap into adults. So now we can see youth as well as adults, not only on the school campus, but also in a total separate location. And so consequently, we opened February last year. As a matter of fact, we had our first anniversary Saturday, so February 3rd. Okay, and we opened last year right after the tornado, February 3rd, and we were a little reluctant. Fortunately for us, we didn't get any damage, although we're on Broad Street. And so we decided to go on and open because we felt there's going to be a significant need for people to talk after this, particular tornado occurred. And so how we impact people is that when this particular center, downtown Selma, I call it, everybody say, well, where are you? And I would say, well, we're across from City Hall and next door to the coffee shop. So we merged between the two where almost everyone knows,
Right.
on the corner of Dallas and Broad. And what has really made the difference here in this wellness center is that we are tapping into the blocks of Selma and outside of Selma. And we are offering something that no one else is offering. We have coaches, and we use that term intentionally because there's still that stigma across certain communities about counseling. We also have counselors, and we determine when a person comes in which best suits that person. For kids, they like the term coaching. So we use clarity coaching, personal development coaching, transformational coaching. Those terms are, okay and palatable for people. And so they don't get all caught up into the stigma of, what mental wellness should look like.
Right.
How it makes a difference, I think, is that people now who normally would not utilize these type of services are coming to us. Not just for the counseling or the coaching, but we also offer special events, activities for the community. We might have a Friday night wine down, where people can come in and, have some wine and cheese, grown people, of course, have some wine and cheese, have some guided relaxation. We might decide to offer massages. So we're offering different types of activities for not only individuals, but also for groups. And the other thing that's different is that we offer Tai Chi, we offer acupressure, we offer yoga as well as guided relaxation, which gives some outlets. We call it stretching the stress. For areas such as Selma, there is that significant need. When we go back and we revisit January 2023, lots of trauma. That was one of what we consider a huge traumatic event.
Yes.
Okay. It's high impact. And so what we needed to do is have people understand now. First, you go through, relief, just get me out of this, But then there's that recovery process. And I always like when I'm looking at, when I'm talking about Selma coming out of the tornado, at first when you went outside, it just looked totally devastated.
Absolutely.
And then trucks and people came in from everywhere to give us some relief, to move things out of the way so we can, move from point A to point B. But then after trucks start moving debris, What did not happen when we saw all of that physical debris, we did not see the mental
Yeah.
debris that was left.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people who lost things, and people lost their homes. For youth, this is a stuff generation. And so they lost their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But for the grown-ups, displacement is huge, when you had a home and now you have nothing else. So you see the physical damage, but you can't see the mental pieces behind that. And that's where our target is. You know, how can we help you to move forward? Even if you were not directly impacted by the storm, you probably knew someone or had a relative who was impacted. You know, and
Absolutely.
that high impact had a trickle effect. It affected the enrollment at schools here.
Mm-hmm.
It affected businesses here that some have not yet reopened.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look across the city, we see a greater need brought on by that high impact traumatic event. But just imagine coupling that with all of your regular trauma that happens in poverty stricken areas on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
Right. And so we're excited that you have such an extraordinary um that you've had such extraordinary opportunities to serve our community,
Mhm.
and that you're continuing to offer these resources, and they can directly impact poverty, because when you're not mentally feeling well, physically you can be impacted on the job. Lord, just like you were saying, what happens when you're carrying all of that stuff and you
Mhm.
are responsible, you're the first face that people see at your job,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So customer service may be, not up to par, because your personal weather is not a sunny day. You're dealing with a storm on the inside. And so for those of us who are planning to attend the Day of Action on February 2nd, which is tomorrow to us, how can we take advantage, or what do we need to have in order to take advantage of your service?
I think the first thing you have to have is just an awareness.
Okay.
That has been our biggest goal this year, this first year. Our biggest goal has been developing that awareness that we exist.
Okay.
The second thing that you need to have is just, intentionally stop by, because when people walk into the center, we tap into every sense there is. You get a smell, you get, visually appeasing place, and it looks good, it smells good, and we try to treat our clients well and our customers well. One of the things in terms of having us, we just have tomorrow. We expect to have an opportunity for people to complete through a QR code, a Connect card, and that just gives them information about us, but it also gives us some information about them so that they can tap into. Uh, we try to make sure that anything that we do as city blocks is well rounded to adapt to significant different types of various types of people. We don't want to just hit one particular interest group. And so to do that, yeah, we have focus groups. We have something called cupcakes and conversations just for
Yes.
for you to tap into. But there's no, you don't need to have any money available to tap into our service initially. We've kept our prices at a very low rate. When I say very low, we're talking $10 a class. Uh, and one of the other areas that we are going to tap into now that we are finding a great need is bereavement. Not just for victims, but also helping people to cope
Mm-hmm.
with just the normal um, family losses and other kinds of losses. And so if they are coming tomorrow, we'll have an opportunity just to share information about ourselves, our company, our process, and then give them an opportunity to give us some feedback about what they like. What are their needs, because you can have the best laid plan, but if it's not tapping into the needs of the people,
Right.
it just, just
It's just a plan.
it's
Yeah.
a dream dancing around in your head.
Yes.
So we need to make sure that we are targeting the people who need our services and the types of services that they're interested in. So that's what our focus will be tomorrow.
Awesome. So we're delighted to have you represented as one of 87 vendors, y'all. We have 87 folks signed up, agencies from across our community, whether they are locally based, they're based within our local government, our state government, or our federal government. We have 87 vendors signed up, and the City Blocks and Dr. Wilkins and her amazing team will be in the building. That is Selma High School, 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. tomorrow, February 2nd. Please make sure you share this information, right? And if we are not, let me ask you this as we wrap up. If we're not able to make it to Selma High tomorrow between 9 and 1, how do we get in touch with you, Dr. Wilkins, at City Blocks?
Well, we can visit, we can do one of three ways. You know, you can always tap into social media in terms of visiting us in terms of City Blocks. We have our own City Blocks on Facebook and Instagram, but you can also, you know, tap into us by calling us. We have QR codes posted in different spaces. And so that gives you just a lead into our website, which is urbanwilkinsgroup.com. And then you'll follow the City Blocks link to get your information. Our phone number on site is 334-431-5352. And then we also, because we live in the world of tech, we have a cell number that is always available at 470-836-5406. And so those are the easiest way to get in touch with us. And then the best way to find out is just to stop by 300 Broad Street in Selma on the corner of Dallas and Broad, and just come in and take a look. And then we're sure that you'll be interested in something that we're offering.
Absolutely. So again, I want to thank you for taking time out today to talk about your amazing business with the amazing services that you offer. And y'all, please stop by the City Blocks table, because like she said, when you walk into their building, it smells good. It's beautiful. The space at Selma High, I felt like I was walking into HGTV. Like, so they put their money where their mouth is. And if you are looking for, or maybe just even considering whether you need a coach or not, stop by the table and talk to the folks at City Block. So again, I thank you for your time and look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
We'll look forward to seeing you, and thank you again for having us. And we look forward to sharing more information tomorrow at the event at Selma High School.
Absolutely. See you then.
See you then. All right. Bye-bye.